All right, so welcome back to Sense of Survival video, where we are helping you propel you to a life of abundance. We are back with Dominic and Gretchen, who are going to give us some of their tips after getting out of debt and share some of the budgeting hacks that they have done since being out of debt. So now for kind of the fun part is what has been, so you worked all this time, you worked 3.5 years, you got out of debt, you were rewarded little by little along the way with a Diet Coke and a half a piece of pie or something. So now that you are debt free, what has that allowed you to do? What are some of the benefits that you've seen from that?
Go ahead.
I mean, the list is long.
Sure.
List is long. It has been some good years of being able to control our money. Like, now it comes in and we get to decide, like, the line items on our budget now just look different. And they're happier, and they're things that we get to decide versus, like, burdens that we've created from the past. So yeah. We have 4 children now. All of those we have been blessed with since becoming debt free, and we've cash flowed wide variety of things for them. We've bought our first home after we became debt free, and sold that, and then we're able to buy a different one when we moved.
Yeah, upgrade.
Yeah. And we the biggest thing for me was that Easter that we paid off our final student loan. I had gone back to work after our first child was born, and our hope had always been for me to be at home, work from home, or be a stay-at-home mom, or some combination. And we had her a little sooner than than the budget had planned for. So I did go back to work after she was born, but we did so very intentionally. Dominic literally made a chart for me of, like, you go back to work, we're going to hit these benchmarks so that you can stay home. So that was like that was our first debt-free goal that didn't have it had monetary influence, but it wasn't an actual number. Was having me stay home with our daughter. So we paid that off in April, and then I was home with her by September.
Wow.
So I only had to go back to work I was back at work for 7 months, I think. And that was just to fuel our emergency fund. Yeah. The numbers that my nerd had crunched said if we have this much in the bank, we can switch over and feel confident on a single income.
Yeah, and it funded the birth because the choice that we went with for the birth wasn't covered under insurance. We had to pay for that with cash, and so that was an extra bit of motivation for us, was getting that set up and in place. But I'd say for me it's never it's never quite been the same. You talked about kind of that security gland piece that we have, that desire to save, that having that buffer in the bank account, just from my standpoint, like, changes things. Like, I know that if something happens with the house, or something happens from a health standpoint, or something with one of the kids or one of us, there's a little bit of reserves there that will be all right. If I lose a job, whatever the case may be, there's something there to kind of help out. Yeah, there's some other money that could potentially come in some of those scenarios, but the point is that we wouldn't be necessarily reliant on it at a certain point. So just having that emergency fund was the big emergency fund, right? Baby step 4.
Yeah.
No,
3.
3.
That's right.
All right.
He's new to this.
I'm new to this. So baby step 3, having that in place, and starting baby step 4, which is where I was going with this, is now it's not seeing that number work down, but seeing the number go up.
Because baby step number 4 is investing in your retirement.
Yeah.
So they're able to put a big chunk toward their retirement every month.
I mean, it's not big.
Well,
But you're young.
It's
Okay,
it depends on what
it grows.
Yeah.
There you go. You have
Yeah.
a lot.
it's going to grow. You have a long time for it to grow.
Yeah.
So it's going to be awesome.
I just read Everyday Millionaire, so I got these numbers up here now.
Right. And we'll get there. You'll get there.
To her point, we are right at about that 15 mark. I think we decided it was 14% when we did. When we did some numbers the other day. Baby step 4 is 15%.
He's still the nerd, but he's influenced me so much over the years. Like, I'm interested in it now, but my numbers are a little more wishy-washy and loose.
Yeah.
That's kind of how Anton's are.
Yeah.
But I'm
I
interested in
think
the
it's like,
spreadsheet. I'm
this.
interested in them now, at least. Whereas before I was like, ooh,
Yeah.
I don't speak that language. Now I code the budget every month, you
Yeah,
guys.
she does. Yeah.
Yeah, I made Tasha really crunch the numbers the other day for the debt because I've always kind of left them. I didn't ever want to really know the numbers because I don't know why.
He likes the round.
But the other day, I really made her crunch the numbers because in my head, we're still $100,000 in debt. Like that's just what it is, and it's like what, like 30% of that or something like that we were actually still in debt.
Wow.
But for me, like I'm the worst case scenario guy, and so I just like to, leave it out there so I can stew on it and freak out about it
Yeah.
every day.
The reality check was positive.
Yeah,
It was a great reality check.
It's probably, that undue stress is probably not good. I think it's good. I mean, yeah, this is the nerd talking, but I think it's good to know what the true numbers are, because oftentimes we get stressed out by the unknown, and just knowing our situation sometimes helps it. And having, like, when she was talking about when she came home from work, we had that date. I gave her a date. Listen, if we stay on this pace, you'll be able to come home on this day. And we beat that goal by several months.
Yeah.
Because
I think we had said by the end of the year. We were
Yeah.
really hoping for the end of the year, and then it bumped up to September.
And we had just ramped, so about 3 months. So, and then we had just ramped up the intensity. I mean, talk about a free spirit being motivated.
Yeah.
That was, she wanted to be home with the baby, and that was a big source of motivation for her. So, having something in place that was, nice for us to have that same common goal and to cut every penny and pick up an extra shift or do an extra. I mean, we both had side jobs at that time.
We had a renter. We had side jobs. We ate some
living with us.
creative meals.
Yeah.
When you need money, you can find it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So segueing from what you just said, creative meals, we talked about this a little bit earlier. So one of the things we do every episode is we kind of try to provide a budgeting hack. And so since these guys were on here, I asked them, okay, give us an idea, give us something that you do to stretch your budget or to make your money last a little bit longer, or just, anything. And so one of the budget hacks that you guys talked about, first and foremost, you said something about the fact that even though you're out of debt, you guys still budget. So touch on that a little bit for us. And then the other one, I guess.
Okay.
So Dominic, if you want to touch on the still budgeting piece. Well, even though you're out of debt, you guys still budget. You budget maybe even tighter now than you used to.
Yeah.
Because you still have goals. He's blanking. He's freaking out on us right now. He's freaking out on us.
Maybe we should just go to Gretchen.
So,
maybe it'll come back.
What Dominic was saying earlier.
You can edit this, right?
Yeah.
We can, but we're not going to. We're totally leaving this in. So what Dominic was talking about earlier is now that they are out of debt, they are still budgeting every single month, because that doesn't quit. That doesn't stop once you get out of debt. You continue to budget because now they have goals.
Still baby steps.
It's still baby steps that they're working on. Plus they have goals that they're doing now. Like he's building a fence and a shed, doing some upgrades around his property. Not only is he budgeting to pay for that cash flow as it goes, but he's taking huge steps to save money on his way. He was able to procure some materials for his shed that he found out were worth a lot more than he paid for them. So he turned around and flipped them, made some money off of it, and now has paid for his shed that is not even fully built yet, but he's got all the funds put away for it. So, he's still working that. So that was kind of something we were talking about that he forgot about. So Gretchen's going to tell us. Gretchen's going to tell us the other budgeting hack with your food and something you did
I'm
for
going to
40.
toot his horn first.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. So with our fence, we moved into a house that didn't have a fence, but we got 4 little kids, so we need a fence. Well, my hope was that we would have it last summer, but we didn't have the cash set aside for it. So we could have qualified for the credit easily to put the fence in.
Moving into the house chewed up a lot of our cash.
Sure.
So we had to dip into our emergency fund, which we didn't like doing.
Sure.
Because you get real protective of that.
Yeah.
But I ran the calculations on what it would cost to borrow that extra little bit of money, and I said, no, we can do it and just save up and rebuild it up. So that's what we did.
So anyways, we made, I don't want to call it a sacrifice because it's not a true,
We waited an extra year.
You made choices.
We waited
You made choices.
we waited a year to save up for this fence. And then when we sat down and crunched the numbers again, so now we want to do the fence project and like 20 other things as well. So it came down to, okay, well, we can cash flow all the materials for the fence, but labor is often one of the most expensive things in house projects. And so this guy signed up to do it by himself. So for like 6 weeks now, 6 weeks?
4 weeks.
He spent all his spare time we're working on our fence. And so we've saved so much money. I mean, yes, we spent his time. He's given up all his downtime and family time. But in the long run, it's looked really positive on our budget, being able to only have to cash flow the materials and not have to be paying the labor.
Yeah, and the family time just looks different because your boys are out there helping.
Which sometimes slows things down. But
It does,
that's fine.
but they're
Now
out
they have
there and they're
memories of
enjoying the
building the fence.
experience, right? And they'll remember it.
It's a memory.
Yeah, they'll remember it. That's
So,
good.
yeah, and that's just like that piece of that budget of like, yes, we're still budgeting every month, and those are the decisions that we're making. Because now we've trained our minds that, okay, well, a credit card isn't an option for
Right.
this. So how else can we finagle money and match it up? Oh,
Exactly.
we want to do this project that costs X amount, but we only want to put half of that towards it. How are we going to make up the other part of it?
That's good.
Dude, I even mowed the lawn so that he could work on that because we don't hire anybody to do the lawn.
There you go. That's sacrifice.
And I don't
right
do
there.
the lawn.
I don't.
12 years. and
too
she's
pretty
never
to do
been
the
behind
lawn.
a power tool.
That's good.
But I did it.
All right, so tell us
Okay,
about
anyways.
your 40-day
Budget.
thing.
Okay, so
Yeah,
we've
your
done
budget.
two things recently to help hone in our grocery budget because there are 6 of us in our family, and that makes groceries. Our groceries are food. The combination of groceries and eating out is our second largest
Behind mortgage.
expense every month.
just
after
grocery.
mortgage.
So we do a grocery store item.
Right.
So
we don't-
toilet paper comes from grocery store.
Sure.
Right.
Sure.
Just because things that you would buy at
Yeah,
the grocery
we
store.
do the same.
We
Yeah.
combined that category years ago. And it's easy for us. It's easy for us to spend $1,000. It's if
Really
we come
easy.
in under $1,000 in a month, we're kind of happy. But
We did a grocery fast where we did not buy groceries for 40 days. But for the most part, like I did not do any Costco runs. We did not, pop, oh, it sounds good tonight. Will you swing in and grab shrimp on your way home or whatever? We didn't do any of that. We ate out of the freezer and we ate out of the pantry.
Wow.
Which was awesome. Not only did we save tons in our grocery budget, but we were resourceful in the fact that I think the statistic is that people throw away 25% of the food that they purchase.
Yeah.
And so oftentimes the stuff that gets pushed to the back in the pantry or in the, gets freezer burned
Right.
that we end up tossing, we planned our meals around that.
yeah.
And he got super motivated. He was like, we're saving so much money. Bring it on.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'll eat more creative stuff.
It was pretty creative preparing meals. I think we spent about $65 on actual groceries.
Yeah.
And like she said,
Butter,
Like
fresh
butter,
fruit.
milk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
we had some
fruit.
milk
Yep.
and stuff like that.
Salad
and it was just
fixins,
yeah,
yeah.
it was just eating stuff that we had already paid for that we're probably never going to use anyways. And we had some weird combinations,
Sure.
like
Cream
These-
of pepperoni pizza or
these
something.
two, yeah. These two things don't necessarily go together,
Right.
but individually they're good. So
Yeah.
we can
Good
make it
pairs,
work.
right.
Yeah.
I mean, it went so well. We're going to do it again next year. Like, I think we'll
fun.
make it like
Yeah.
an annual, like, okay, we're going to kick off our 40-day grocery fast. And then with that, like, I think any larger families know that, like, Costco is a huge money saver, but it's also a huge temptation.
Right.
Because you go in and there's deals and there's samples and they have a lot of prepackaged things that aren't necessarily your cheapest breakdown for meals. Anyways, with some of the items that I go there regularly to get, say like Dino Nuggets for the kids, things like that. When those go on sale,
And Dominic.
and likes Dino Nuggets. When those go $2, $3, $4 off, when they run their,
Yeah.
and they seem to be on a cycle, so it's every couple months.
Right.
I will, now I'll go ahead and pick up 3 or 4 boxes. But if I bring those home and just put them in the freezer, these guys, we have him and then we have 3 boys as well. They just think, oh, we're gonna eat Dino Nuggets every night.
Every
This
day.
is the best thing
Yeah.
ever.
Dino party.
So that I can hold them off until the next sales cycle, I mark on the boxes what month they can be opened. So instead of, like a traditional like sell by date on food, we have a open date.
Yeah.
So
I
right
just
now,
found out about this today when I was
I think
helping
it's
them unload some
awesome.
groceries.
why do these denim nuggets say July?
Yeah.
Well, I can't open those until July 1st, so
Like who said?
sorry.
Oh, Mom said.
The
Okay,
rule.
great.
It's
Okay,
the
great.
rule. Yeah.
Yeah, but that's
I think
great
that's a great idea.
So
because so if you plowed through them in 3 days or a week or whatever,
they
and
would
the
just
boys
put
wanted
Dino
more,
Nuggets back on the Costco list.
right?
And
Right.
this spaces it out.
So that chews up more of your grocery budget. And,
Yeah.
And so now this way I get to save because I buy them. I only buy them in bulk when they're on sale.
Right.
And then we space them out kind of at the normal rate.
Okay.
So now that's part of their normal that they'll grow up with. They'll
That's
probably
awesome.
be men someday, marking their Dino Nugget boxes.
Their college roommates are going to think they're super weird.
What do you mean these are July Nuggets?
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, I think that's all we had for today.
Yep.
I just wanted to thank you guys for joining us. Thank you for sitting in on the video with us. It's been a lot of fun talking with you. So we just thank you for that. But we just wanted to thank you guys for watching and look out for the next video for Sense of Survival. And make sure to check out her blog at That Mama Gretchen on Twitter. What's your website? ThatMamaGretchen.com?
ThatMamaGretchen.com.
Okay, check out her website. She's a mommy blogger. She's a homeschool mom. She's a budgeting mom. She's just a picture.
It's my side gig.
An
Yeah.
Instagram
It helps our
mom.
budget.
It's our hustle.
We
That's
may
my side hustle.
we may end up doing a side hustle video before we leave. I don't know because she's the queen of side hustles. So we just wanted to thank you guys again for watching. Check out her blog at thatmamagretchen.com. So remember, Sense of Survival is here to propel you to a life of abundance. Thank you all for watching. Have an awesome day.